Hi everyone, this is Alex Stevenson from Ninja Teacher, and in today's video I interviewed Claire, who is our head trainer at Ninja Teacher Academy, and we talk about a range of topics from the importance of English education to her role at Ninja Teacher to what we focus on at Ninja Teacher Academy when it comes to English teacher training and TEFL training courses, and some of the most important things that you should be learning in a teacher training course. And we get a little bit of insight into someone who's really a passionate, qualified, experienced teacher, and I think you can learn a lot from Claire. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let's jump into it. So Claire, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about your qualifications and experience?
So my name is Claire. I'm from the United States of America, and I have 7 years of teaching, training, curriculum development, and experience just in teaching. I'm professionally licensed in California in the United States to teach English, and I also have my Master's of Education from Harvard Graduate School of Education. And I have a wide range of teaching experience from children all the way up until adults, and teaching is something that I'm really passionate about.
Great. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what Ninja Teacher Academy is?
Ninja Teacher Academy is a teacher training institution, and we run an English teaching school, and there are 3 different things that we offer. The first is an online course, which is 120 hours. Then there's also an in-person course in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, and we also offer a job package.
And what is TEFL or TEFL?
TEFL stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language, and sometimes you may also hear TESOL, which is Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. These are often used interchangeably, but essentially this is the certification that you can get in order to teach English to speakers whose native language is not English.
Other than the field of TEFL, it is also a training course, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I didn't clarify that. Yeah, so it's a training course to help individuals become qualified to teach English.
Right, and a certification that you can get as a new first-time teacher that can help you get a job.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that's great about TEFL is that you don't necessarily need to go and get a Bachelor of Education or have all of this, all of these exams to take in order to become a licensed teacher. It is a certification that is recognized around the world internationally, and so many countries see TEFL as something that is required to teach English.
What do you think it is that makes Ninja Teacher Academy different?
I'm biased. I love Ninja Teacher Academy. I think one thing that's unique is that it's very personalized and personal. So it's not just a faceless institution like many other TEFL courses can be, but we really care about the people, and so we want to create a network of people to support each other, because moving to a new country, to a different place internationally is really challenging and can be really scary, and going to a new country without that support network can be very daunting. And so we give that network to the trainees that come through our program, and we really want to make sure that our trainees are prepared not just in theory but practically, and can step into a classroom and feel confident with the actual practical experience and application.
So you mentioned briefly what courses we run, and do you want to clarify a bit on those?
Essentially, there are 3 courses. Our first course is the in-person course, and this is run in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and it's a month-long intensive course, and we meet Monday through Friday for 4 weeks, and essentially you learn how to become a teacher. And what's great about that is you actually have the experience of practicing during the class, the actual skills you'll be using, but then you'll also have observations of real teachers who have TEFLs as well. You'll get a chance to actually teach Vietnamese students, so you're not only just teaching in theory, but you're actually teaching students for whom English is not their native language. Yeah, it's just a really great community to have. Then there's the 120-hour online TEFL course. And this is a great course that we moved from our in-person course online, and that is great because you can do it self-paced on your own timing and anywhere in the world. And then finally we have the Vietnam Job Package offer, which is to help place you in a job here in Vietnam with a reputable company.
With the online course, it was something that we were very interested in, making something that was as good as it can possibly be learning online, because you mentioned how important that practical experience can be. So what are some of the things that we have in the course, along the lines of the video recorded training sessions, and how have we gone ahead and moved it online in a way that made it very useful and still helps you to get that knowledge and the skills that you need?
When we decided to move our in-person course online, we thought it was really important that we maintain a high quality and a high standard. And so, as you mentioned, we recorded the actual in-class sessions and put those online as well. So key pieces where you get to actually see lectures as well as different sessions and activities that are taking place. And we've also added quizzes so that as you go through, you can check your knowledge. And throughout that as well, there are points where you can respond to prompts and comment, and you can see what other people have commented. And I actually go through and read every single one of those comments, so it's not like those comments get lost somewhere. I'm actually going through and responding to the participants on the online course. And one thing that I really think is great about our online course is that we require you to create 3 lesson plans, and we actually go through in detail your lesson plan and give individualized feedback and support for that. And so that's not something that all online TEFLs do, and I think it's really important that you have that practice of actually creating lessons in order to become a good teacher.
Yeah, and I think that is really important, because when we are giving feedback on those initial lesson plans, there can be some fairly big problems that if you took that lesson plan and tried to teach a lesson based on it, it wouldn't really go well, that lesson. So I think getting that feedback and then coming out of the course with a lesson plan that you can actually use in the classroom is something quite powerful and useful.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is our course does have some theory and background knowledge, but we really focus heavily on the practical aspect. And so we do a lot of making sure that when you walk away, you have, like you said, a resource you can actually use. And on our course, multiple resources. There are lots of different things that you can take into the classroom.
Nice. So what do you think you've personally been able to bring to the table at Ninja Teacher Academy?
I think one of the main things is my passion, because I am very dedicated to teaching and I love teaching, and I think that education is so important, and it's a way to give opportunities to people. And for a lot of people around the world, learning English is just that. It's a chance to have opportunities, to earn a bigger income, to move out of the country, to have a better life. And so I think that my passion and enthusiasm for teaching is something that I try to share with my students, my trainees. And So I think hopefully I can encourage them, even if it's not a lifelong career for them, that they see the value in this and that they find joy in teaching.
A lot of people have commented on that about you. They've really noticed that passion, and it transfers to trainees who might not have initially come out to Vietnam because they are entirely interested in teaching. That's not the only reason. A lot of the time it's so that they can travel and make a good salary and live in a new country, and teaching is an opportunity to do that, and they don't really know if they will enjoy it or not. And then if you do get that experience from a trainer who really shows you what it's like to be a good trainer, and you can actually see it in practice and also seeing the passion behind it, I think a lot of people change their mind or become enthusiastic about teaching because of that. How have you incorporated your knowledge of teaching into the syllabus?
So when I first came to Ninja Teacher Academy, you guys had such a great syllabus, and Kyle did a lot of great work with making sure that there was a really solid foundation. But I wanted to add in more research-based strategies. So one thing I'm really passionate about is making sure that what people learn is research-based, valid, and actually works. So there's lots of things in the teaching realm that is taught that isn't necessarily correct or isn't actually best practice. And so that was something that I came in with to add those in. I mean, what was in there was already that way, but I wanted to incorporate more of that. And so some of the things that I've added in include, talking about certain neuromyths in education. So these myths that keep getting revolved, and that lots of teachers and even trainers believe, as well as thinking about more step-by-step how to create a lesson plan. I also added a bit more about how to decrease teacher talk time, which is a really big thing in ESL, where teachers tend to talk too much, which doesn't allow their students to talk. So we talk a lot about strategies for how to reduce that.
Absolutely, and that's something that I think a lot of people just don't understand about teaching English as a second language or as a foreign language compared to learning from a teacher in school or a lecturer at university. They imagine that's what they're going to be doing. They're just going to stand up there and talk for an hour. But the system that you use as a teacher, which is essentially what we're teaching to new trainees, is very different to that. It doesn't look at all like that. And when you take a course like ours, you start to realize that, and you see that things like reducing teacher talk time and putting the focus on the students talking and the techniques and all of the ways you can encourage them to speak and actually have that lesson plan that you follow and that uses all the best practices is essentially what you're trying to convey to these new trainees.
Yeah, exactly. So your own classroom experience may not look exactly like the class that you're going to teach, because it is a foreign language class. So imagine more like, if you took Spanish or French. And even those classes, perhaps, when we were in high school, were not the best models for what those classes should look like.
Right. So what are some of the most important things you should know and learn as an ESL teacher?
That's such a big question. Lots of things. I think one of the most important things is classroom management. And that's because if you can't manage your classroom properly, then no learning's going to get done. And so it's really important to understand what motivates students, how to control the classroom properly, get students to listen and behave, and by doing that, you are able to engage the students and get them to learn. So things like yelling at the class is not effective. There are lots of other effective strategies to help students focus, and not just young students, but also teenagers need that. Adults less so, but still with phones it can be an issue. So yeah, thinking and understanding where students are at their age level, the level of English that they know, and using that information to manage the class, I think, is most important.
What have you seen as the biggest key to success for an ESL teacher?
I like to think of the TEFL as like your learning permit when you are learning how to drive a car. And it's one of those things where you get it because you have a basic understanding of all of the concepts and have some practice with those strategies. But then you need to go on and actually continue to learn, grow, and practice. And so I think the ability to be reflective and to continue to want to grow as a teacher is most important, because all of the other skills will come if you continue to, think about how you can improve.
Right, having that growth mindset's really important.
Exactly.
So why should someone choose Ninja Teacher as a company to help them start teaching English abroad?
Ninja Teacher is a company that really supports the individuals who come through our program. And so as a team, we're very supportive, but also the network that you create. So I know a lot of alums that have gone through our program, and it's been a year later, and they're still in touch with the friends that they made through Ninja Teacher, and that's their support network here. They're still keeping in touch with those people. Those people are their emergency contacts if something happens here, and so having that kind of network is really, really valuable. And I think as well, having that can really help you feel a lot more settled in a new country. And so I think Ninja Teacher does a really great job of establishing that connection.
Right, and it can be a really scary thing to move to a new country, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't know anyone or don't know which jobs to take or what is, more scammy or not, like you may have very little knowledge. And so I think that Ninja Teacher does a good job of taking individuals who are first coming into Vietnam, maybe have no knowledge of the culture or of the language, and really trying to help acclimate individuals into Vietnamese culture.
What would you say is your favorite thing about working at Ninja Teacher Academy?
Definitely my team. I absolutely love my team. I love Miranda. I love Steph. I love Chi. I love you. Like, honestly, I couldn't have asked for anything better. You have jobs that pay well, but are really like soul sucking. And you have jobs that, like there are so many other benefits, but for me, I think that something that I really look for when I look for a company is how cohesive the team is and how supportive they are. And I've definitely found like a Ninja Teacher family here, and so I really love working with Ninja Teacher.
That's great to hear, and also it comes through in when we interact with all our trainees too, right? Yeah. I mean, we are not only training people and then saying goodbye to them, like you mentioned, we have the community afterwards, and we're often meeting up with and hanging out with all of our teachers who have graduated and are now teaching and living in Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly. Like tonight I'm going to be meeting up with a couple of alums who went through our program in November, and I know that, you, me, Miranda, Steph, not always Chi because she doesn't always go out, but we've often gone and gotten lunch or bubble tea or gone out. So yeah, I love having that.
Nice. And what do you like about living in Vietnam specifically?
Vietnam is great. There are so many things to love. the food, the people, the prices. It's very affordable. But I think one thing that I really love are the people. Vietnamese people are very open and wanting to help, and if something happens, like I lost my phone, they're more than willing to help me look for my phone or things like that. And because they're really proud of their country, they want to represent their country well. And so if they know you're a foreigner, more likely than not, they'll be willing to help you and want to show Vietnam in a positive light.
And what do you think it is about teaching English in Vietnam that is great? And, why would you recommend Vietnam as a place to teach in?
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many opportunities here. Vietnam as a country really values education, and so teachers are really important to them. And they know that English is a really important subject to learn and language to be able to speak for business and communication. And so families and parents understand the real value of learning English for their children. And so not just children, but adults will invest in their English education. And so there are lots of companies to work for, lots of opportunities. They're really wanting those teachers in order to really open up opportunities for their lives. And so in Vietnamese society, teachers are valued. And as an English teacher, you are even more valued, and there are lots of opportunities.
Mm-hmm. So what would your advice be to someone that is considering teaching English in Vietnam?
Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is don't be afraid to take the leap. It can be really scary to do something new, but you won't regret it. You may regret never doing it, but you won't regret taking the opportunity to try and move abroad, expand your thinking, expand your experiences, but also understand that things won't be the same as home, So you need to be a bit more flexible. The traffic can be crazy, it can be loud, but learning to accept those things and kind of laugh at some of the differences between your country and Vietnam is really important. And finally, find a support network. It's really important to have friends and people that you can rely on. And I guess that's why Ninja Teacher is so valuable, because of that support network. You don't want something to happen and you don't have anyone around. You want people that you can count on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thank you for talking to me, and I'm sure everyone found that useful. And if those of you that are listening and watching are interested in learning more about teaching English abroad, you can check out ninjateacher.com and subscribe for more videos about teaching abroad. So thank you, Claire.
Thanks, Alex.